Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and we are going to be giving you a first look and deep dive walkthrough on Season of Strife, but really, what they should be calling it is Season of Death. And stay tuned, because near the end of the video, I am going to show you why, and something that I think is game-breaking, that I don't think anyone has even noticed yet if you haven't taken a look at what is coming up in this season. It is pretty mind-blowing. And I think it's probably going to catch a number of people off guard. So as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So first and foremost, we're going to click on everything we can click here, and then we're going to go take a look at the map. And then I'm going to hit you with the bee's knees at the end, and we're going to talk about these massive implications on why really they should be calling this the Season of Death. So first and foremost, we'll take a look at the new season introduction. Again, we know CP, policies, prestige, merits, and elixir pretty standard for what will be reset. Season features, we did already go over these and the season map as well, right, where we have the 4 starting zones being Lanasa in top left, Burning Lands bottom left, Darlin top right, and Valdoran in bottom right. Next, we'll take a look at some of the, Amber. We'll look at merits. Can't do that until Secrets of Decay. Makes sense. Let's go here. Ossuary. So we know Ossuary is essentially what they were bringing over, where you get to fight as much as possible. This kind of encourages, to an extent, taking policies and features that will incur more dead. So again, maybe now you're a little bit more willing to rally, especially with now the fact that those who are rallying and garrisoning have the same percentage, right, at 35 apiece compared to what it was before. I believe 35 and 50% for the attacker deads that you would lose, and then 35% for the defender. So I think we're probably going to be seeing a lot more rallies now, and especially more rallies on cities than we probably ever have before. Now, we'll have to see obviously how much more that is, but I think it will incline players to do that because now they don't feel like they're at this kind of decent disadvantage where they're incurring a lot more deads because of that, at least for how it was previously before the percentage change. So here, this is where you have your total dead units. It'll show you what they are, and the legions revive. Now, we know that the proportion revived is most likely going to be 50%, unless there is some kind of change here that's going to happen. But let's read this. So during Season of Strife, legions who die in combat with other lords will be recorded in the Ossuary. Combat that happens outside of Season of Strife or after the season summary will not be recorded in the Ossuary. When the season ends, a proportion of dead legions in the Ossuary will be revived. Only recorded dead legions, unit types, and levels. The characteristics of revived legions will be determined according to your faction when the season ends. If you migrate before the season ends, your dead legions will be revived at the time specified before you migrate. So remember, not after summary. What that means is that if there's any deads you take from, in this case, this 3-day window from summary to end, right, those will not apply for whatever the percentage ends up being. Again, we can't enter because we have to be level 16. Just straight up kill myself. And then we have the mastery skills, which I don't think I can show off for some reason. I thought that I could, but it's maybe just because I don't have any, maybe. I think because I remember someone else showed them off, so it's probably just a me thing. Actually, I would assume so because this is a scout account if that's the case. We have village management, season policies. Now, again, there are some interesting ones here. I think when I had taken a peek before, right? So we see a name change here where this used to be Cross Swords. Now it is Bitter End. And the change here, which is interesting when we take a look at this, is that legions will deal 5% more damage, but the change comes in here. When both sides in a battle have this policy enabled, 2% of both sides severely wounded units will die. So they changed this, actually, where now you may think that this is kind of a win, and maybe to an extent it kind of is-ish, but I on one side think this is actually a clever ploy to get more players to enable this, because they've carefully crafted the wording here, almost like a politician would, where if both sides have this enabled, what that means is it almost gets you thinking as a player, well, what if the other side doesn't have it enabled? Now I get 5% extra damage for free, and I'm not going to take any deaths. So it very much, I feel, the way that they've worded this almost inclines or motivates more people to get this and to enable it, compared to, or it's almost like, I don't want to say it's a trick, but it's just a play on words, I feel. I'd love to know what you guys think. Maybe I'm off there. Maybe you see what I'm seeing. I'd love to know what your thoughts on that one are. And then we get the rallied army damage, garrison damage, again, standard movement. Now, these diligence ones have been adjusted a bit, right? So now we have healthcare benevolence, which is herbalist hut care capacity limit 50 million. Daily elixir production is plus 50,000. Legion defense plus 5. Prestige gained, which is plus 10%. And then you also get the negative 5% healing resource cost. Then we get to reprieve, which is daily resource healing quantity limit is plus 1 million. You get daily elixir production plus 20,000. Legion march speed. And we have Legion attack that has gone up for plus 5 and then plus 3% echoing. And then we have resource healing cost, which is negative 10%, so you're saving a little bit there. For diligence, we have the 20 million plus that we have on the limit, or I should say 20 million on the limit. Daily resource healing quantity limit is plus 5 million. And for Legion HP is plus 5%. Stamina limit bonus is plus 50%. So again, that's decent. And then you get negative 20% healing, right? So you get arguably some of the most important pieces there on not only the stamina limit to keep going, but also the resource healing cost is the most, right? So you can see negative 5%, negative 10, and then negative 20. But again, you get the 20. And if we click on this, right, I assume this is going to basically say, like, if you exceed that after a period of time, right, then those units will automatically die. So when you have more severely wounded units in your herbalist hut than your care capacity allows, severely wounded units who exceed the limit will die due to lack of care. So this almost now makes it seem like they will die immediately, whereas before the wording made it seem as though they would die after a period of time if you exceed the limit. It does say if you exceed the limit with more severely wounded units in your herbalist hut than your care capacity allows, those units will not immediately, oh, well, see, there we go. I just had to keep reading. Will not immediately die. However, if you remain above the limit, any further severely wounded units will die. Okay, so that covers, I think, most of the newish or word change policies. We also have the Conquest Achievements. I believe we did show this off at one point, but I will kind of go a little slow here just to show each off. Right, we have Occupy, gaining some prestige. And these are for personal as well. Completing Behemoth Elite Raids, defeating Darklings, capturing War Pets. Looks like healing units here that we have for a couple stages or tiers. Looks like we have Elixir healing. Oh, interesting. So we have Elixir and RSS healing that we have for those. We have gain merits that you get. Looks like the max one for that is 12 million. We have spend 100 minutes, 300 minutes, and 800 minutes building alliances. Now let's look at some war bands here, and then we'll take a look at season rewards as well. So we have Occupying, it looks like some behemoths here, 3 Hydra layers. We have a Necro, we got the Magma, Purifying the Dragon. We have 4 Magmas, and then we have gaining 100 million merits with your war band. So that's combined for the alliances and the players that are a part of that. Then we get to Realm, which is again for your kingdom. We have defeating Darkling Patrols 5,000. Looks like Magma, 2 Magma layers, and gaining 300,000 prestige this season. Flame Dragon, and gaining 500,000 prestige this season. Then we get to some rewards. We got the random legendary hero completing 20 conquest achievements. We have legendary ascension emblem, which is completing 35 conquest achievements. And again, that will be based on those options. Now, we'll take a look at Augerstone in a moment because I kind of want to end with that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the map. So, if we go to Season of Strife, we will head over here. Now, we're going to talk about the final zone because I want to point out how the way they're doing the final zone is actually similar to a suggestion that I had a while back, and it is just funny how it looks, but I will give you my thoughts there. So we are starting in the 4 corners, right? We have Valdoran, which is bottom left. We can already see J3N. Shout out to my homegirl Julia there. We have UDF for Undefeated. That's in top left for Lanasa. In top right, we have Darlin. Looks like HOUW is there. And then bottom right, Burning Lands, we got FG for the FG family. And then we have the neutral zone ones, which in this case is going to be Pelanos. We have Sophrostia as another neutral zone 1. Nevola, or sorry, I should say neutral zone 2, is there. And then we have a Goru, I believe. Now, the one thing you're going to notice, I guess let's take a look at the zone 1s first. So for zone 1s, we have a bear, 2 bears. Let me see here. 2 bears, 2 giants. 3 bears. 1, 2, 3. So 3 bears, 2 giants, and a magma. I'm going to assume that's probably going to be the same over here. Let's just double check. 1 bear, 1 bear. Am I blind here on the bears? Whoa. $10. Oh, yep, down here. So 3 bears, 1 giant, 2 giant, and magma. Okay. And it looks like we have 3 level 1 spires. It's probably the same. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, no, hang on. There's 4 I see over here. In that case, $10 says I can't count. 100%. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 level 1 spires. Okay. Now, the thing about zone 2s, right? So we have 2 level 1 passes that will open up going into the zone 2s. Notice how from the zone 2 to the zone 3, there's no passes. However, if we take a look at the layout, we have what basically feels like more of a deathmatch style setup where they're going for a little bit more symmetry here. What we notice is that out of the zone 1s, you're kind of like crescendoing, or I should say funneling, if you will, into a choke point here in the middle. And so you end up seeing that we have the level 3 Thunder Rock, you have 2 level 2 spires, and you have this Dragon Cliff, which in short is your kind of kill box plateau, right? And let's just see if there's any way to kind of get around here, because I would be curious if there is. Oh, look, so you do have something here that you can get through. And, oh, I see. Look at that. So, okay, I think I see how they're doing this now. Let me see. Can I get over here, though? That would be interesting. Okay, so another choke over here. And this goes up. Let's see here. So this goes up here. Doesn't look like there's a bridge. Interesting. So they're kind of like creating 3 lanes, it looks like. Okay, I see. So, in short, what we have is if you take this level 1 pass, you can either go middle or left. If you go left, you're going to go all the way up here, and then there's a bridge over here, right, that connects. We have the right lane, which again goes here across the bridge there. The 2 paths, again, you can see a bridge here and a bridge there, right? There's 4 bridges. So you're going to come up the middle and basically fight on the plateau. Now, I don't think you can get around. Let's see. Okay, so you can't get around on that side and can't get around on that side. Okay. So this is interesting to me because it's almost as though I kind of feel like a little League of Legends-esque. I don't know if anyone else is kind of getting those vibes, but I actually like the design here for Zone 2 because you have 3 dedicated lanes and you have, which again has some open field here, some open field here. We have a plateau that for the most part is really open field with kind of a wider choke here in the middle. And then you have open field at the bottom of the ramp and an open field at the bottom of this ramp, right? So I, for one, actually it feels like there has been some improvement here. And even if we go over here, look at Nevola, you have a big open field area. And I would imagine, let's see here in Nevola, I would assume there has to be a way through. Yes, see, so there is. If you come up this way, so that means that this is going to be consistent with how they're playing these out, right? So that means there has to be a way to get through here. Oh, see, yeah, there is. Yep. Okay, so basically what we're getting now is that there's most likely going to be 3 lanes for each of the Zone 2s, where you're going to have either a left, middle, right, or a top, middle, bottom. And that's what we're seeing in Nevola's case. If we go over here to Sophrostia, very similar thing is happening too as well. However, it looks like there's a little bit of mountain range. Oh, I see. Awesome. So it's not like a hard mountain. It's probably just more, maybe get some flyers, some calves, maybe just, again, having a little bit of terrain difference, right? So it's not a full open field plateau. But it looks like Sophrostia is getting a little bit of that. I would imagine that there's probably going to be a way through here, I'd assume. There is, yeah. So again, 3 lanes over here as well. Then if we look at the last Zone 2, which is Pelanos, this actually doesn't have any plateaus and is very grassy for that region. Interesting. So let's see if we zoom in here a bit. So you're going to come out this way. Looks like you can go up here. And you're going to come through the bridge. I see. So going there to the bridge. Okay, so it's probably lane here, bridge over here. That makes sense. Probably a bridge here. Oh, there's not. Oh, I see. So maybe you can get through going that way. Or it has to be, right? Yeah, because the pass is there. So you'd have to come down. It looks like you can get through there. Right? I feel like I'm not super cray-cray on that one. Unless there's a bridge this way. There's not. Okay, so maybe there is a way for you to get there. And there's a bridge over here somewhere. Oh, I see. Maybe you can just go really wide along. Oh, wow. That's a thin one. Oh, and then you just end up out. Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. So that's like, man, that's like taking the ring all the way around Mordor, basically. Or going through the gates of Moria, if you will. And then we end up getting the kind of main fighting area here, which is pretty wide open, right? Lots of trees, but just very wide open. Okay. Now let's get to the Zone 3s. So the Zone 3s we have is Telemachia. Now, it should be important and noted that these Zone 3s, to me, very much resemble like Rise of Kingdoms, Home Kingdom Zone 3s, which technically those are Zone 2s, I should say. But the way that they kind of curve, like they almost kind of make these L shapes, and then you have kind of another one up here, right? And then you have Isanor. I'm sorry, but there's 4 Zone 3s technically, right? I'm just more so talking about the curvature of them for how they look to me. But it should be noted that the important part here about Zone 3 is that you do have access to them, but predominantly from, right, keep in mind this is consistent, from your starting Zone 1, right? So no other Zone 1s are going to have access to multiple Zone 3s. However, what you will notice that I find very interesting here is that you do have the runic statue fights between each of the Zone 3s, and you have a level 4 border pass that goes into the adjacent Zone 3s, which is something we didn't know. So to me, that's massive, because if you consider a big group like the TFS Noir BXS EIS group, that now adds a whole new element to where you can basically, we'll take a look at the Augerstone to make sure the pass openings are going to work that way. But what that means is that if Pass 4 opens before Pass 5, you can end up fighting it out in Zone 3s before you even make it to the final zone. And you could basically go all the way around the world, if you will, like it's a pony merry-go-round ride, and terrorize. So that'll be interesting if it may play out that way. Then we end up getting, and we'll kind of show you around. So we have Akura here, and we go up, and it looks like we have Hydra, Necro. Looks like just those 3 there, and it looks like a pair of level 3 spires too. And then we get to Isanor. Are they pulling names out of Lord of the Rings? Is anyone else getting that feeling? And then we have Atherin, which it looks like they just moved over the final zone over there. Now they're just kind of swapping some names here. And then we get to Final. So briefly talking about Final, at face value, what it almost looks to me like they did, keep in mind, what was one of the major complaints on the Tamaris Season 1 map? Was that, 1, the dragon wasn't centralized, and 2, there really wasn't enough of an open field emphasis on territory as it pertained to not only equal distance, but to provide kind of a fairer, or I would just say, maybe fair is okay. I would maybe just say a balanced approach, right, to what the PvP could be. So for me, this is very exciting for how it looks already, because to me it also looks like they're taking a page out of the SB2 map and just improving it for the Tamaris map. If you remember, in the final zone for SB2, you basically came out of the gates into a small pocket. We then had your spires at your chokes, and then it opened up in the open field, even though you had those 3 plateaus at the end. However, in this case, it looks like coming out of the level 5 passes, you're going to have a spire choke. And notice how the spire chokes are kind of in a circle here. They all kind of lead into having a little bit more of an open field. And even if we zoom in around the dragon, just look at this. This, to me, is absolutely effing sexy. I cannot tell you how excited I am to see more of this kind of Colosseum style open field with the dragon in the middle. This was something that I even suggested and advocated for. Now, could this area maybe be a little bit wider, a little bigger? Sure. But am I excited to see at least them trying something different and also being something that a number of people were asking for, myself included? Yes, I'm absolutely excited to see how this played out because I think the SB2 map for Final Zone was a solid improvement, and a lot of people enjoyed that compared to the SB1 Final Zone. So this, to me, I think is going to have and present a lot of opportunity. And let's just give an example here. If we come out of this level 5 pass and we see where the openings are, right? So we can't go there. Spire that you see here, and the spire will lead in as we go down. You'll see there's another spire here. You can also come north around, and then you'll see dragon, right? You have the, where was that bridge? Did I go too far? I did go too far, huh? Oops. Oh, no, sorry. Spire comes down here, and it looks like maybe you can... Oh, I see. So you can kind of get around over this way and then kind of come south and then up to the dragon. So again, you kind of have multiple points, I guess, depending on the level 5 that you're going into, right? So it looks like here around, maybe here you come here or here up there. So it looks like you will probably have your opening for level 5 pass into your pocket, and then you'll have some flexibility to maybe move left or right as you then kind of centralize here to where the dragon is. Now, let's get to what I consider or think is going to be the most important part. And this is the part that I hope a lot of you are sticking around for, because once you read this, you are going to understand why I am calling this the Season of Death. Okay. For this, however, we have to go back to the home kingdom, or we have to go back here so we can take a look at the Augerstone. Now, I'm going to read you this in order, and then once we get closer to the Augerstone chapter in question, because I did have a chance to look at some of these before, this will become a lot clearer, and then we're going to go back to the map to explain this. So, Unbroken Tides, we have Golden Dreams for 2. This is where we get the bear unlock. However, one of the interesting things that they've now done here is they have a dynamic difficulty. This is something they mentioned before, where as like when you're in home kingdom, as days go on, the behemoths are going to become easier, right, as the timeline progresses. So this is very basically on point for what they said they were going to do. It reads, when a behemoth lair opens, the behemoth will gain 1 stack of behemoth damage taken, which is plus 10%. So right, so more damage taken on the behemoth, and the stack every 72 hours for a max of 5 stacks. That basically is every 3 days up to 15 days from once the lair opens, where essentially it will stack up to plus 50% additional damage taken, meaning it'll make it easier to attack and to defeat those behemoths. Now, I don't know if this is going to apply for elites or this is just basic. We'll probably have to see. But I would imagine it probably would have said so, unless it's just a passive application. I want to point out that I hope it isn't applied for elites, because I just do very much believe that elites should hold their kind of own status tier placement, where it's like it should be more of a challenge, I guess is my point. Then we'll get to End of Indecision. This is where level 12 Darkling Forts are going to open. The time is now. We have the purple Miasma Giant. Number 5 is going to be Secrets of Decay, where we have the level 1 pass opening. Notice as well that it does say semi-protected. We then get, oops, hang on. Let's go over here to where it says the basic merit shop, and our store, I should say. This is when it becomes available. Let me see here. Oh, interesting. So it doesn't say anything about, oh, I see. So maybe you can start getting merits earlier, because I know in the Season 1 Kingdoms, I know you can't start doing that until Augerstone 8, but maybe that isn't applied anymore. But just a little visual note there. We get to Star of Hope, which is for occupying one, Alliance Orbman will occupy 1 level 1 pass, ending. Thunder Rock is going to open. Mastery Monolith expansion, so when this chapter ends, or whether the objective has been met, all players will unlock the Mastery Monolith. Heroic Ascension, 12 hours after, heroes will be able to gain EXP obtaining merits. EXP by attaining merits. Great Deeds, we have level 13 Dark Fort. Silent Calibration, this is where we have level 2 pass that's going to be opening for semi-protected. And just to be clear, when a pass is semi-protected, alliances must occupy a behemoth lair in the pass's corresponding region before they can attack it. Alliances who do not fulfill the requirement cannot attack, meaning you have to be able to attack the behemoth in that region in order to then access the pass corresponding to the next region. We get to Village Occupation, get a plus 5 limit. Mastery Monolith expansion. all players will unlock the next Mastery Monolith. Let's get to Chest of Desire. That's just going to be for Hydra opening. Conspiracy, Warband for Hydra Lair. We get the level 3 pass. We get the next Mastery Monolith. And then we get the amount of EXP heroes gain through merits will be greatly increased. Let's get to War of Peace. This is where we're going to get the standard merit store. It will become available. We also get Supreme Ancestor Statue for level 3. Keep in mind that is in Zone 3, connecting that we showed, where you have that and a level 4 pass, being able to move into adjacent Zone 3s. Ember of Hope. Must defeat 3 Furious Guardians. That's when we are going to get the Necro that will pop. Let's go to Salvation. We get level 14 Darkling Forts, another Mastery Monolith level. And then we get to Unparalleled Bravery. This is going to be level 4 pass. Again, that adjacent pass connecting level 3s. Now keep in mind, with the level 4 pass, notice how this does not say semi-protected. This is going to be very important in a moment. 12 hours after this chapter ends, all of this season's level 4 passes will be open to attack. Alliances can only attack passes bordering their territory, so that means from both or either side. Motherland's Call, we have the premium merit sword that will open. Swords into Plowshares, we have a level 5 pass, which is going to be for Final Zone and Hollandale, will open. Notice as well that this is not semi-protected once again. Then we get to the Village Occupation Limit, Peaks and Valleys. We get the Art of War, which is for Flame Dragon opening up. Then we get the Strongest War Pet. All players will have a greater chance of attaining higher level war pets. And then we get to Garlands of Praise. This is where we get level 15 Darklings. Hearts Towards Dawn, where we have the Magma opening. And then we get Unscarred, a Worthy Claim, and the last Unscarred. However, this Unscarred is the one that I'm going to talk about. And for those of you that have been waiting and have watched this video all the way through, thank you, because I'm about to blow your freaking minds. If we click on this, your alliance, now this is the third to last Augerstone chapter to be clear, your alliance or warband must occupy 1 Magma Daemon lair in this season's realm by the end of the countdown. However, that is not a requirement for this to unlock. Level 2 passes opened. Keep in mind, this does not say semi-protected. However, it does say that 12 hours after, all of the level 2 passes will be open to attack. Alliances, again, can attack the pass bordering their territory. Now, you may wonder, boss, does that mean what I really think it means? Oh, buddy, it does. And we're going to show you exactly what we mean, because this is game-changing. So, if we zoom out, where is the level 2 pass? It is in Zone 3, which means that because the level 4 passes are opened and not semi-protected, and the level 2 passes are not semi-protected by the time we get to the third to last chapter. What this means is that your starting Zone 1 can be invaded. Now, some of you may think, boss, this is intense. However, this to me almost seems standard. What I mean by is the next chapter in the book that the game is reading to us. Because remember, they gave you the option to teleport back to Home Kingdom. This was something we talked about, could be a possibility when they opened Home Kingdom, and they mentioned that you could go back and forth from Home Kingdom to your KVK season. So, now, basically, the alliances are going to be able to go, kingdoms will be able to go all the way, right? So if you want to be able to just invade and do a total domination, right, PvP victory, you're going to be able to get that done now, right? Or you'll be able to have the opportunity, we should say, to do that. So to me, this is massive because this really hasn't been the case before, but now it is. So I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think that this changes anything for how alliances and kingdoms and unions will approach this? Especially for some of the big KVK groups, which we'll probably do some separate videos on to talk about. But this to me is massive. And I'd love to know your thoughts. So let me know in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.